Hello everyone, good evening.
Good
Krishna,
evening, ma'am.
Rohit, and I think one more is there with the Oppo A15. I don't know who that one is. Can you please rename? Okay. So probably see our part 3 training will be on the evening time only, and I know there will be office hours and all. So that is the reason why I'm going to teach it in the recorded mode. So those who are available at 6 p.m. evening time, you guys can join on daily basis. Or if you are not available due to office work or office hours, you can go through the recorded versions. Okay. So mostly for part 3, everyone will prefer the recordings, but if you guys are available for live session, it will be quite interactive since part 3 is a theory. So we are not going to go on a normal mode of study. Today I'm going to explain you how we are going to go with the part 3 syllabus. Okay,
Have a
so
representation.
Somil, yes, you have any question?
No, sorry, my mic is actually on. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, so let's start with the part 3 session. Let's wait for 2 minutes. I think people are still joining in. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes. Ayush, Krishna, Rohit. Okay, that's the Oppo A15 phone. I think you have renamed yourself. No worries. So let me share my screen and we'll start it. Just a minute. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen. Yes. So first of all, I would just like to share you the syllabus. Okay, first of all, we have divided the whole book into 4 chapters. Like whole part 3 syllabus is limited to only 4 chapters. So what we are going to do is like 1 week we are going to complete each and every parts. Same thing we did in morning in part 2 session, right? We divided the whole syllabus into 4 parts. Here also we have divided it into 4 main parts. These are the 3 which will require at least one week preparation time, and this is the last one which is important, the circular 230. Okay, for part 3 the important part in our syllabus is circular 230. So what we have done is, instead of looking at the whole circular all together, what you can do is, for each and every topic we are including the relevant section. In circular 230 there are a lot of sections, right? Section 10.10, 10.11, 10.12, like this there are a lot of sections. No need to remember each and every section, but yeah, those are important, those are required to be remembered along with the topics we have included in the book itself, just after the topics. Okay, second thing is we are going to do everything logically. Nothing, since this is a theory part, nothing needs to be mugged up. Okay, just remember, just put yourself in the shoes of a enrolled agent. Like, see, just remember, like now you are an EA, how you are going to represent your client, or what all mistakes you should avoid, and what all penalties will be applicable to you, what all documentations and information you need to give it to the client and to the IRS. Okay, let's say one example. I would say my recent experiences. Uh, Previously, I filed one of the return. I think it was in April. I guess, yeah, April tax season. I filed the one of the return. Okay, direct client. I filed the return online using the EFIN and all. Okay. Now, yesterday I got a message from the client. He has received the notice because instead of considering his number of days where he lived in which state, we straight away considered the address given on W2. Okay, the address given on W2 was matching with his residential address. But the thing is, he forgot to inform us that for part of the year he was residing in Maryland, and for part of the year he was residing in South Carolina. Now he received a notice from the another state, South Carolina, that you have not paid the taxes. Now please pay the taxes because you were residing in South Carolina for at least few number of days. Yeah, we calculated that 107 days were there. Yes. So this kind of proportion was pending from our side. We filed the state returns, but we forgot to pay the taxes. Okay, so this is how you're going to reply to this notice. Then we drafted a whole reply and posted it to the revenue department of this South Carolina. Okay, on the online website only you can post the draft the reply to the state level. Okay, so this is how I'll keep sharing my experience. I'll keep sharing you some information which can be helpful to remember the topics. Okay, so those who have joined late, I have just started with the topic. I was just explaining about the procedure which we are going to follow. Straight away we are going to today start with preparing the tax return. So those who are not having any experience in preparing the tax return, that's fine. You just need to remember this part 3 topics are straight away going to be asked in the exam based on your technical knowledge. Like, not, you don't have to mug up the criterias. I know in part 1 some of the criterias you need to remember it. Here you need to apply your knowledge in the case scenario. So those who have already appeared for part 3 or planning to appear for part 3, in this particular part 3 you should be quite logical and practical. Okay, so let's see, before starting with the this part 3, first thing you need to understand who can be a tax preparer. You are going to have a EA designation, right? So who can prepare the tax return? So let's understand that whenever a person who is going to prepare the return for some compensation, main word is compensation. Okay, main word is compensation. If I am preparing the return free of cost, I will not be called as a preparer. Okay, so the main word is if a person is preparing the return for having some compensation, or if I'm employing someone else, okay, employing one or more person to prepare for a compensation. Okay, now it can happen that I'm just a preparer. Okay, but my reviewer is the main person who is going to sign the return. This thing happens, right? You are working in the office, you are just doing the data entry in the tax software. So you are not a tax return preparer. This definition is for IRS purpose. Okay, in layman's language you will say that yes, you are a tax return preparer, but in IRS language who will be called as a tax return preparer? One is the person who is going to receive the compensation. Second, either he is employing someone else to prepare the return, or all or substantial portion of any return of the tax or any claim for refund of the tax under the IRC. Or if a person is going to prepare a substantial portion, means let's say my CPA is there, okay, he is going to ultimately be responsible for the penalty, or like whatever issues there are in the tax return. He will be the responsible person. He has the whole and sole responsibility. Okay, I am just preparing on his behalf just a normal tax return. So I am preparing, I know I am preparing the substantial portion of the return, but the person who will be ultimately be responsible is who is receiving the compensation for preparing that return. Okay, so first point is clear, everyone. First one is that you should be receiving the compensation. Second is a person may be a preparer without regard to professional status. Okay, anyone who is not a EA, even those person who are not who have not achieved any qualification, right? They are also working at a big four companies. They are also working at a big four companies. They are also working at a KPO industry, right? Where they are actually preparing the return. See, guys, please understand now, whatever theory here is given, I'm trying to link it to our day-to-day life, our practical life, so you can remember the topics instead of just reading the theory. Okay. So still, if you guys also have any examples, right? After explaining, if you guys have any example, you can just put it in the chat box. Example, this and that. Okay. So here everyone will be able to understand, and even I can understand you guys are able to catch the topic or not. Okay. See, the person may be a preparer without regard to any professional status or even education qualification or nationality, residence, business location. It doesn't matter. They can be a preparer. Only one thing is, if they receive a compensation, they are going to hire someone else, and they are preparing the substantial portion of the return, and they are the only whole and sole responsible person. Okay. So it is not necessary to prepare the entire return. Person is considered a preparer as long as he prepares the substantial portion of the return. What do you mean by substantial portion? Major portion. Substantial here means more than 50% of the return is prepared by the person. But for the IRS definition, IRS doesn't know like about what is the procedure of KPOs and all. Okay. Right now, maybe in most of the companies, if it's direct CPA firm or a big four companies, straight away they ask you for a PTIN. You should have a active PTIN number. In next scenario, next topic, we will see that if you are a tax return preparer, you should have a active PTIN number. Okay, that's why the KPO industry will not ask you to take the PTIN compulsorily, right? Even though it doesn't care about your professional status, that yeah, just for the salary bargain and all, you can achieve the professional status. But just for working on clients, if you have enough knowledge, they will not ask for a PTIN or anything as a compulsion part. But actually, looking from the IRS point of view, those who are going to prepare the return for the compensation, or who is going to employ someone else, and who is going to prepare the substantial portion, means most of the return is prepared by him. So preparer plus reviewer plus the signer who is going to sign the return, all the three people will be all the three people will be called as a tax return preparer. But in India, it's very difficult to understand this thing, because in KPO industry, it's not like that. If you look at the CPA firm, how many of you are working with the CPA clients? How many of you are working? No one? Okay, then for you, it's easy to understand. See, if you're working directly with the CPA firm, right, they will ask for your PT number and all. PT number and active PT number should be there. Okay. And once they ask you for that and they start assigning you the task, you will fall under this category. You are the employee for them. Okay. Who is preparing the returns. So you will also be called as a tax return preparer. We'll see that what are the responsibilities and all of preparer, reviewer and all. Okay. The assigning tax return preparer is the individual tax return preparer who has primary responsibility for the overall substantive accuracy of the preparation of such return or claim for refund. So the CPA who is actually going to sign the return, who is actually going to put his license number and all, so he will be the primary responsible person. Okay, clear guys? Any question till now? 3 points are very simple and easy to remember, right? Just think like you are preparing a return for your CPA firm. So you will be called as a tax return preparer. But if you are thinking like a KPO industry, like they are outsourcing their work to Mr. X, and here Mr. X is assigning the work to other people. So that other people are not the preparer, but Mr. X is the preparer. He is employing Mr. X, right? So that KPO structure you should not keep in mind. It's simply keep the US CPA firm in your mind. A CPA firm is going to take the work from the client. They are not going to do free of charge. First of all is they will pay the compensation. Second, whoever are going to work on their return, the preparer level will also be called as a preparer of that particular return. Okay, the person who is going to sign the return will be considered as the primary responsible person. Okay, now a non-signing tax return preparer. Who is a non-signing tax return preparer, guys? After understanding these 3 points, you will be able to answer this. KMS is, I think they have direct clients, I guess. Yes. So they are having direct, see, two kind of structure is there in US taxation, US accounting. One is outsourcing, means already there is a CPA firm or a EA firm over there in US. They are going to outsource their work over here in India. Second one is you are already a CPA firm organized in India, EA firm organized in India, and you are taking the work from direct clients. So KMS might be falling under the second category. I'm not sure about it. Okay, Krishna. So see, what is non-signing tax return preparer? Can anyone answer? After looking at these 3 points, you might be able to answer this. What is non-signing tax return preparer? One example I'll give you. Let's say, yes.
तो पर्सन रिटर्न पे साइन नहीं करता है और वो सब्सटेंशियल पोर्शन को फाइल करता है, जैसे कि कोई पर्सन है वो सारा रिटर्न प्रिपेयर करता है तो उस पर साइन उसका रिव्यूअर करता है या तो फिर उसका सीनियर करता है, देखते हैं.
Correct. See, I'll explain it in a simple language. Reviewer is there, one, and one preparer is there. Okay, I'm trying to keep it more practical, which we have seen on day-to-day life. So this preparer, he is just going to prepare the return. Those who work under some company, yeah, correct, Rohit. So the preparer who is going to prepare the return is going to prepare all the work papers, enter the whole work paper into the tax return and everything. So he is not going to sign the return, but can I say he has prepared the substantial portion of the return, right? So he is a tax preparer, but he will be called as a non-signing tax preparer. Same way, his work will be reviewed by one of the senior, okay? And this senior is going to put his, this senior is a CPA, he is going to put a signature and everything on the return and file it to the IRS. So this one is a signing tax return preparer. Got it, guys? So a non-signing tax return preparer is any tax return preparer who is not signing the return, but who prepares all or substantial portion of the return or claim for the refund. Okay, when you file a return, it's not like that. Say if you have done a direct deposit, if you have added one checkbox is there, if you have straight away added a direct deposit into the tax return, you will straight away get the refund in your bank account. But if you have mentioned them that receipt through a check, okay, you will get a check through mail. Mail means not email, it's mail, okay, on your address which is mentioned. Third thing is, let's say you want to claim a refund for previously filed taxes. Okay, whatever previously you have filed the return, now you came to know that my incomes were overstated or my deductions was yet to be entered or some credits were left to be claimed. So what you will do, you will do an amended return. You will file an amended return. Along with that, you will file a claim for refund into a separate form. So a non-signing tax return preparer. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am.
No worries, no worries. We have just started. We have just started with this one topic has been done. So just the definition of tax return preparer we have completed. Okay. So what are the main conditions you need to check? First one is compensation. Second, you will check is even if the person who is not in this professional status education, he doesn't have any professional status education qualification, nationality, residence, this will not matter at all. If a person is preparing the substantial part of the return, he is the tax return preparer. Then second step will come whether that preparer is a signing preparer or non-signing preparer. Signing preparer means who is going to enter his name on the first page of the return. The bottom of the first page, the paid preparer name will be there. Okay, so if compensation is there, you will enter your signing tax return preparer name. Okay, if you're not receiving compensation, let's say you are employed by a CPA firm, you will be a non-signing tax return preparer. Okay, now there will be certain questions which will confuse you. They might ask some scenarios where you will get confused whether this person is a preparer or not. So for this point, there is an exceptions. So person shall not be a tax return preparer merely because of few points. 5 points are there. Okay, please understand this thing carefully. If a person is just furnishing the typing work or reproducing or any other mechanical assistance is given. Okay, let's say a CPA is there, he's very old age. One of my client was were very old age. What he used to do, he used to collect all the data from the client in a written format. Like he doesn't use computer PC or any technology. He was around I can say 65, 66 years of age, and he used to take all the information. The client used to visit their office over there in US, and he used to take all the basic information in the written format. Then he kept one admin staff. What that admin staff used to do, he was aware about entering the basic details into the return. So looking at that return organizer, he was just typing all the basic information into the tax software and creating the client in the software. Okay, I hope those who have already worked in US taxation, they know when you are working in any tax software, whether it's Pro Connect, Ultra Tax Break, any software, if the client is new, you need to add the client, create the client in the software, where first step is to add the basic details: name, address, SSN, phone number, profession, their email ID, if they have lived in which residential states, they have to mention that also. Okay, so this all things just are the typing work or reproducing some documents, or looking at that paper document. There was one admin staff who used to fill out the whole organizer, reproduce the whole organizer into computer format, so that the team who was sitting here at the outsourcing level, they can easily get all the documents information. She used to just scan the documents, okay, and send us to us, so we can prepare the report. So we can't say that she is the tax return preparer, right? So this is one exception. Second exception is provides tax assistance under voluntary income tax assistance program established by the IRS. So even if in today's date, if you check the IRS website, there is one this program which is being developed, that is voluntarily income tax assistance program. Means you can easily advise some clients, or you can advise on their tax return. So that is a volunteer scheme. You can go on that website and just help them to answer their queries. Okay, so this, you cannot call as a tax return preparer just because you are providing some assistance on a volunteer platform. Okay, third one is prepare a return for employer. If you're going to prepare a return for employer, or of an officer or employee of the employer by whom he is regularly and compulsorily employed. Let's say, I'll take one example. Let's say you're working in XYZ CPA firm. Okay, now you are employed by this CPA firm. Let's say Mr. A is employed by this CPA firm. Okay, so it is his regular duty to prepare the return as and when assigned by the manager. Just think, you are at this position, guys. Okay, you all are working at some, maybe some people are not working, some people are working at some KPO industry, some big four companies. So what is your duty? To prepare a return for employer. Okay, whatever your manager will say, you have to prepare it for them, by whom you are regularly and continuously employed. So you are not called as a tax return preparer, because ultimate authority, because see, when you prepare it, after your preparation there will be a review. After his review, there will again a final review. After final review, it will be submitted to the US CPA, and this CPA is going to sign the return, and at his office he is going to again do the checklist and do one last final review before submitting it. So this person right? This person, they cannot be called as a tax return preparer. Okay, clear guys? Any question till now, guys? Okay, those who have joined late, I just wanted to tell you that we have just started, and with some basics we have started. Just a tax return preparer, who can be preparer, who cannot be preparer. Now see, in part 3, normally people have the perception that it's a part 3, it's a theory, we can easily do self-study and complete the exam quickly, right? But still, it's like a part 1 exam only. People get stuck at 101, 102, 3 and 4 due to only one reason: they don't remember this whole theory in the exam. And no need to remember it, just do it, just think it logically and practically, what is applicable, what is not applicable, and why it is not applicable, why it is disallowed, and why penalty will be applied. Okay, think like a real client is coming to you and asking you about all these questions. Okay, please explain last exam. Last example is just our example. See, Samil, if you're working in a, let's say, big four company, or let's say you're working in one of the KPO. Okay, so what is the structure of KPO? There will be, this is the CEO of the KPO. Okay, then there will be a manager. Under this manager, there will be few full-time shifts. Okay, they are working for a CPA firms. Now these people are going to get some work from the CPA firm, but these people are the reviewer. The actual work is done by the preparer. So this preparer cannot be called as a tax return preparer. The CPA has hired you as a full-time candidate for working on their return, right? See, 99% of time this person will only be working on what has been provided the work. But this is an example, now read this line again: prepares a return for employer. Okay, he is preparing not for himself, for the employer, because he is hired by, let's say, XYZ company. Okay, now for this he is preparing the return, or for the officer, means his manager, or the employee of the employer. Employee of the employer means manager. Who is manager? Employee of your employer, right? By whom he is regularly and continuously employed. Got it, Somil? Ankit, okay, no worries, you can ask at the end. That's fine. Next is, if you prepare as a fiduciary a return or a claim for refund for any person. Okay, fiduciary means, see, one thing you need to remember, that if there is no compensation, then you can't be called as a preparer. So this is the same thing. Fiduciary means if you're preparing a return for your parents free of cost, you're not going to charge any money from them, right? See, let's say you're preparing it for any family member, any friends, colleagues, and as a fiduciary, as not in the professional capacity, just, like, let's say after completing EA, you guys will have some connections in US, right? Maybe your brother, sister, or cousin brothers. You will ask them that, okay, now I can also prepare the return. So you will prepare free of cost for them. So you are preparing it as a fiduciary. You won't fall under the definition of tax return preparer. Okay, got it, guys? And please remember, when you prepare it as a being a E, when you prepare it, yes, you can put your name in the paid preparer, but 99% of time, those who don't have EFIN number, they put it as a self-prepared under the paid preparer signature. Instead of putting your own name, usually people put the self-prepared as the name and file the return. So if it is mentioned self-prepared, now then no one is there as a tax return preparer designated on that return, right? So this is one where you can remember the example of your family members. You are filing the return, or you are claiming a refund for them free of cost. Next is prepares a claim of refund for taxpayer in response to any notice of deficiency or in response to any waiver of restrictions after commencement of audit. See, what happens once the audit is getting started? See, what is audit? This audit is IRS audit. Let's say you have understated your income, or you have overstated your deductions or credits. A lot of mismatch is there in your tax return. IRS will give you one-time warning. Second time, they'll give you some time period to reply and all. And then even if you do not respond or anything, they will send you directly the notice for audit. So once the audit notice is received, and then you reply in that response, and along with that, you are going to amend your return to go for refund claim. Okay, let's say you filed a return and you paid a $10,000 of tax. Okay, but what IRS did, they sent you a notice. They sent you a notice, and instead of 10,000, they are saying that your tax liability is 50,000. Okay, now already the IRS audit has been started, and there is a rule we will see in the last chapter. In last chapter, there is the whole hierarchy of tax code, and after receiving which notice you have to pay at what point of time. So as soon as you receive the notice of deficiency, you have to pay this 50,000. Okay, now you paid this 50,000, audit has been started, and you prepared a huge explanation that this 50,000 should not be paid, only 10,000 was the amount of tax. So you are filing a claim for getting the refund of that 40,000. Got it, guys? What I'm trying to explain is, now read the same thing again by looking at the example, by understanding the example. What was the example? When the person filed the tax return, he paid only 10,000. IRS sent him the notice, then again 30 days was given, then within 30 days he took he took the case to the court. Okay, there are two courts. One will be federal court, and one more will be the local court. So we'll see that in the last chapter, tax hierarchy. There you will understand. But just right now, for understanding this point, I'm explaining with example. Let's say you receive a notice to pay $50,000. So along with the notice, you paid it. Okay, no one is going to get saved from any penalties and taxes. If you feel you are correct, if you feel you want to pay you don't want to pay the taxes, but before the deadline mentioned in the notice, pay the taxes for now. Later on, you can easily claim for the refund. So as soon as you receive the notice of deficiency, in response to that, if you have already paid this amount, and now you are claiming for a refund, okay, or in that case, the $40,000 which you're going to claim, just you're filing a claim for refund. That doesn't mean you are a tax preparer. Let's say the one of the CPA firm filed the tax return. Based on that, the notice came. Now the client is coming to some other tax preparer. Okay, he's just asking me to draft a notice. So draft a reply to the notice so that he can claim back the $40,000. So that doesn't mean I am his preparer. His preparer will be the one who prepared his return in previous one. Clear, guys? Any question? Right? So this is the types of this is the main I can say definition of tax return preparer, and the exceptions. Exceptions are important, guys. Wherever it is important, I'll dictate in the class only. So please make sure to remember those IMP topics. At the end of the session, after completing all the part 3 syllabus, anyways, we will have a IMP topic discussion in the class. But along with me, please mark it all the IMP topics. Person shall not be a tax return preparer because of following reasons. So the 5 exceptions should be remembered properly. Just first one is that example of that admin staff. Okay. Second one is just you are providing some advice on the website. Okay, on IRS website. Third one is if you are employed by the employer and you are preparing the return for your employer. And the fourth one is you are preparing free of cost for your family members, friends, and colleagues. And the last one is you prepare a claim for refund for taxpayer in response to notice. Just remember the IRS audit has already been started. Now you want to just go for claiming the refund. Just you're filing the claim for refund, you can't be called as a preparer of that particular person. Clear, guys? I hope, Krishna, are you understanding these things? I know you are not experienced in US taxation, but I want your feedback.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
जो आप एग्जांपल देते हो ना उससे क्लैरिटी आती है, ऐसे
Yeah,
ही
that
पढ़ते हैं
example
आती है.
Yes, that example, that's why I'm using it. Even if you're working in practical life, not working in practical life, in both the cases it is used. Okay.
मैम ये पार्ट से एग्जाम देने के लिए प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर हो तो ज्यादा अच्छा, कि फिर ऐसे ही दे सकते हैं प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर ना हो तो?
No, like it's not compulsory, because actually for part 3 there is no practical exposure exist in India actually. For this part 3, what is practical exposure? Replying to the notices, saving your client from the penalties. Okay, no KPO firm is taking this kind of work. Big four companies might be having this work, but that is performed by a 6 years experience, 8-year experience person, right? We being a student who are preparing for EA exam, no one is, even I don't have that much experience. I have hardly replied to 3 or 4 notices in last 2 years. Okay, I don't
ओके
take
मैम.
this risky kind of task. Usually, no one takes in hand, because it has a huge penalties. If you make a single mistake, now it has a huge penalties, huge tax consequences, and you will be responsible whose EA license number is used. Okay, so that's the reason
ओके
why normally no one takes this kind of task. Yeah. Anyone else? I think someone else was also trying to say something.
Ma'am,
Yes, Ankit.
am I audible? Ma'am, the third example आपने दिया, prepares a written for an employer. Does it imply on us, like I employed by the company? So
Yes.
is it the same example?
Yes, it's the same. See, that's what I'm saying. Let's say you are working under one of the manager, for example. What is direct? What is preparer? Let's take one simple example. Let's say Mr. A. He is a US citizen, US resident. Okay, he wants his tax return to be prepared. Let's say he is going to one of the CPA firm. He went to one of the CPA firm, and whoever is, let's say CPA XYZ is going to handle his return. CPA X, okay, Mr. X is going to handle his return. He's a CPA. Now, since he is not going to wholly prepare the return, he assigned his return. See, same thing happened in normal life. In our practical life, what happens? They will bring the clients. They will bring the direct clients. Just think about CPA farmer or EA farm. It can be EA farm also. And they assign his return to, let's say, Mr. P. So Mr. P is just preparing the return, and also he is also assigning it to Mr. R, who is going to review the return. So this person is what? Employee of whom? Mr. X. Employee of Mr. X. Mr. X is the owner of the CPA firm. Okay, so he is the employee of Mr. X. Now, Ankit, you are at this level. Okay.
Okay.
So this person will not be called as a tax return preparer, even though logically thinking you are actually preparing the return, right?
Correct.
But you will not be called as a preparer, but he, CPA firm, Mr. X is in the direct contact. So he will be called as a preparer, and he is the signing preparer, and the reviewer who is going to, the first employee of this. Okay, not, see, just a hierarchy. Remember the hierarchy in the corporate world. The owner, then the senior manager, then the manager, then we have reviewer, then preparer. So the preparer comes at the last, and they are not going to call as a tax return preparer. Preparer is not the tax return preparer in our world. Okay, just remember this. So the one who is in direct contact with the US citizen, US resident, whoever is a direct client, he is the signing tax return preparer. Okay, and second is Mr. R, who is employed firstly by Mr. X. He is a non-signing tax return preparer. Rest all, Mr. P is not a tax return preparer at all.
Okay. Yeah,
Got
they
it?
were telling us even after clearing EA, you are not going to sign any tax form. मतलब वो PPMDs जो partner level है वही sign करेंगे. So
Yes.
complexity involved.
Correct. They are called as the signing tax return preparer. Okay. Now, remember one thing, don't get afraid that after completing EA, what will we get a direct exposure or not? Just a minute. So, even if you are going to complete your EA, don't think that you are not going to get any work, or you are just, if you are having that confidence in yourself, you can easily acquire the direct clients, you can easily work for them directly. But yeah, you should have a proper networking, you should have a proper communication. See, those who don't have a proper English communication, they can't survive in this industry even after becoming EA. Okay, so your communication should be clear, your explaining the things to the client should be clear. It should not be like that what you want to explain, you are only not clear, so they usually get frustrated sitting here remotely if you're not able to make them understand the things. Okay, so that is the one thing. Let's come to the next point, that is a tax return preparer. Now see, as I mentioned, in our class only we are going to link all the 230 circular section, because circular 230 is the major heart of our part 3 syllabus. Okay, so which section defines tax return preparer? Here it is mentioned, section 10 point, yeah, 10.2 is going to define a tax return preparer. Okay, first let's understand it quickly in a very short manner. Circular 230 outlines certain duties and responsibilities that the tax return preparer must adhere. So, being a tax return preparer, Mr. P, what if Mr. P prepares even if it prepares substantial portion, it doesn't matter. The hierarchy will matter. Who is actually signing and who is the direct employee of that CPA. Okay, who is a direct employee of that CPA, that person should be considered as a tax return preparer. That's why in many KPO firms, if you're hired by one of the CPA, okay, they will ask your PT number also. So in some of the client, you will be directly called as a tax return preparer. Your PT number, they can keep in their records. It's like that. Okay. So see, being just a preparer will not be enough. There are certain responsibility which you should keep in mind. What are those responsibility? Diligence, accuracy, signatures, competence. This preparer is what I'm talking about, that CPA. CPA Mr. X. Okay, I'm taking the same example. So CPA Mr. X is the signing preparer. For that, what is his responsibility? Prepare and must exercise the due diligence in preparing the accurate tax return and determining the eligibility for the amount, claim, refund, credits, or benefits. Now, let's say if he receives the notice, the client receives the notice, okay, and it was his mistake. Because of the preparer's mistake, he received the notice, he have to pay the liability, penalty and all. So he can't say, I have not prepared the return, my employee has prepared the return. Who is the signing partner? He is a signing partner, so he is responsible for diligence, right? That's why some of the CPAs will have the return reviewed 2 times before he review it. Okay, so preparer must exercise due diligence. Due diligence means checking each and every amounts are correct or not. One example I'll tell you, in one of the return, payroll expenses was around 15,000 only. By mistake, the preparer entered 1,50,000 as a payroll expense. And it was a very busy tax season. The last day was there. Without even looking, they filed the tax return, and there was a huge loss which the client was claiming on the return. So again, I said there is a breach of diligence, just a arithmetical error was there, but even checking each and every number is his responsibility. Okay, if he claimed a higher deduction, if he claimed a higher refund, higher credit, that is not that you can't say any you know you can't say to the IRS. Okay, you can't get back from your responsibility, you can't take back your words that no, I have not prepared the return. Whoever is signing is the only responsible. Okay, second one is accuracy. Check that all information information provided in the return is accurate and complete to the best of their knowledge. Third one is signature. There has to be, preparer must sign all tax returns they prepare and provide the PT number. Okay, whoever is CPA, EA, both will have to, anyone who is the final responsible person, they will sign and provide the PT number. There will be one question based on the signature. Okay. Competence. Preparer must possess the necessary knowledge and competence to prepare accurate tax return. Now I'll tell you just one practical example. There was one firm from US. They wanted to form a tax consultancy firm. So I mentioned, okay, that's fine, and they want to also take the EFIN number in the name of the tax consultancy firm. So I said, that's fine. If you have a PT number, your EA or a CPA, you can easily form either a EA firm or a CPA firm. That's fine. So they said, no one is EA, no one is CPA. We just want to form a tax consultancy firm with 2 foreign partners and 2 US partners. That's it. So the thing is, it's easy to form. Anyone can form the organization. Okay, see, Ankit, Ganesh, Krishna, Rohit, you 4 people can easily form a tax consultancy firm sitting in India. It will be a foreign entity, okay, over there. But if you guys didn't clear EA exams, you don't know about any practical knowledge about the preparing the tax return or anything, will you be called as a competent preparer? Even you all have a PTIN. See, PTIN is compulsory. Yeah? As soon as you file the return, you sign the return, PTIN needs to be entered on the tax return. Okay. So if you guys are not competent enough, you don't know how to prepare the return, okay, then in that case, you cannot say that I am adhering to the section 10.22 of circular 230, because circular 230 section 10.2 only, 10.2 is the one of the circular where the responsibilities of the tax return preparer are mentioned. These are the basic responsibility: due diligence, accuracy, signature, and competence. And last second is confidentiality. There has to be some confidentiality. Let's say I'm sharing you the examples, right? Guys, I'm sharing you the examples. Am I taking the name of any of the client? No. Am I saying that, okay, this client was having this much revenue, this much he paid the taxes, this is his email ID, this is his phone number? No, there has to be confidentiality maintained between the preparer and the client. So they must maintain the confidentiality regarding client information and use it only for the purpose authorizing by the client as required by the law. Okay. Last one is advice. If they provide tax advice to the client, right, they are just providing the tax advice, preparer must base it on reasonable, factual, and legal assumptions. It should not be like, let's say, some of the client came to you and they are asking for which depreciation method should I take. What you will do, you will strategize your mind and say, okay, whichever depreciation method is going to provide you highest tax benefit, let's take that one. But first of all, check that whether it's movable asset, immovable asset, section 179 is applicable to that asset or not. All those criteria should be checked. So that is what last line is mentioning. If you are going to provide a tax advice to the client, okay, preparer must have all reasonable, factual, and legal assumptions should be there. Looking at the IRS publications and all, you should provide him the relevant references. In my existing client, actually, I think that it's a kind of headache for me. But later on, I realized slowly that he is asking for each and every explanation, whatever I'm reviewing. Actually, I'm a reviewer. Okay. So he asked me to provide, what he used to do is 2022 and 2023 return summary is there. So whatever W2 is there, pension, annuity, interest, dividend, each and every line items, compare 22 with 23 and provide me the explanation. Why it is increasing or why it is reducing. W2 is very common. Let's say if he might have, like every year there can be increment, right, in your wages. But why the pension is reducing? Why you are not receiving the proper pension? Or let's say why your IRA income is not there in current year. IRA distribution was there in previous year. So give the give the proper reasons for this to me along with the legal assumptions. Okay, same way there was one topic, PT tax credit. Okay, the client paid extra taxes, so we can claim the refund. I said on the call, yeah, easily we can claim the refund. So he said, what is your legal assumption on this? So he gave me 2 or 3 hours to do a whole study on it. Went through, he gave me the reference link also, go through the study, and then give me a proper legal support so I can talk to the client in that manner. Okay. Usually in India, see, this subject you will find many new things. Those you might have not done even after the experience of 3 or 4 year, 5 years. In KPO industry, if you're working in KPO or you're working in a normal CPA firm where only you're doing a one type of work, you might have not experienced many things which you will understand in our part 3 class. Okay, so please, whatever examples I'm giving, just jot down the examples. While reading it, it will be easy to remember. Okay, so these are the 4 things: diligence, accuracy, signature, competence, confidentiality, and advice. One example is that, let's say John is a certified public accountant who prepares the tax return for individual during the tax season. Now he carefully reviews his client's financial documents, accurately calculates their taxable income, deductions, credits, and files the tax return electronically. What he ensures that all information is entered correctly and advises his client on potential tax saving strategies within the bond of law. So in this scenario, John is considered as a tax return preparer, and circular 230 will be complied, like he is complying with this circular. Usually many people have wrong practices. They don't maintain confidentiality, they don't provide proper advices. Okay, they straight away say that, okay, deposit 6500 into the IRA account, that's it. Provide them the proper base now, like what is the legal assumption, why you should deposit in IRA, this much is your AGI, and this is the reason why you need to do a tax planning strategy. Got it, guys? So this is what. Now let me read the last part of this tax return preparer. After that, PT and all is in. Okay. The specific section that defines the tax return preparer is 10.2 of circular 230. Wherever I'm listing the sections with circular, after each topic, wherever it is necessary, I will list it. Okay, so same way for PT. Duties, there are a lot of sections which are linked to the duties. Okay, so I have listed all of them into one topic only. Please do not get confused. Please do not uh, get mug up the things. Do not mug up the topics on daily basis. If you are attending live, within next 25 days, 25 to 30 days, your EA part 3 will be totally completed. You just need to apply practically your mind while solving the MCQs. Okay, and this is what we have started a new trend. Like from Monday to Friday, we will having the lectures. On every Saturday, there will be a quiz MCQ exams uploaded, and on Sunday we will have a doubt solving. So for all the 3 parts, we have started with this. I think Girish, you have not joined the morning session. Okay, he's left. So morning session, those who have joined, they are also aware about it. For part 2 also, we are going to do in the same manner, part 1 and part 3. Okay. So see, yes.
मॉर्निंग में भी आप थर्ड पार्ट का सेशन ले रहे क्या?
नहीं, मॉर्निंग में एक्चुअली पार्ट 1 and 2 चल रहा है, इसलिए मुझे 3 इवनिंग में लेना पड़ रहा है. मॉर्निंग में आई विल सी if I can shift the timing for one of the batch to 7 to 8. So मुझे मिल जाएगा मॉर्निंग में टाइम 7 to 8.
My shift timing is 11 to 6 or 7 something.
Okay, let me think on it. Let me complete the 3 days demo. Okay, then we will have a 1 day gap for enrollments, and then we will announce the actual timings, specified timings based on how much enrollments are coming and how many people are comfortable at what timing. If less enrollments are there, I know probably in part 2 there are less enrollment only. Mainly people go for recorded or they go for self-study only. So if less number of enrollments are there, we will mutually decide if maybe 7 to 8 timings is comfortable or any other timing is comfortable, we can put that. Okay. So last one is whatever is necessary, only that thing I have put here, not the whole circular. See, whole circular is, I think, 45 to 50 pages. Okay, not the whole circular is important. No, so in journal, an individual who prepares for compensation employs one or more person to prepare the for compensation all substantial portion of any return of the tax or claim for refund under the IRC, or any person who prepares for compensation substantial portion. Same thing. Can you see? Same thing we have allocated here in a stepwise manner. The same thing is there, only which is mentioned in circular 10 point, sorry, circular 230 section 10.2. Okay, so this section clearly outlines that individual who prepare all or substantial portion of tax return or claim for refund for compensation will fall under the definition of tax return preparer according to circular 230. Now it emphasizes that this definition applies whether preparation is done by individual directly or by employee working under them. Okay, so signing tax return preparer, non-signing tax return preparer. Okay. Yes, Rohit, this PDF will be uploaded in the Google Classroom. Today's recording we will upload. Just along with that, as we used to do in our previous session, just along with the recordings, there will be class notes uploaded, which will be exactly this class note which I am going to teach in the class. Okay. All right, guys. So any other question, anyone? And trust me, this class notes are enough. No need to refer a huge theory book. Just understand the logics, examples, and that's it for clearing the part 3. People take a lot of stress in part 3 because it's theory, and most probably the theory which they have never done, never heard about those in the practical life. That's why they usually panic for part 3. Okay, so don't worry, we are not going to just go only on the theory based. If I get a chance, let's see, I'll show you some notices also in the class. Okay, what is the timing for part 2? Part 2 morning 9 to 10 a.m. in the morning. Already use the same link, the link which you have joined today. Now use the same link, you can join it tomorrow morning 9 to 10. Same link is there for part 2 and part 3 demo. Okay, 3 days we are having the demo, you can join it.
Even for part 3 also will be the same link, right?
Yes, same link. For 3 days it will be same, and later on it will be updated in our group. I think Ankit
6 to
is
7
already...
in the evening for part 3.
Yeah, currently it is 6 to 7. I'll see if I can change the timings to morning. I'll announce it. Okay, so don't worry.
Okay.
What
and
is
ma'am,
yeah.
पार्ट 3 के लिए मैंने ग्लैम का भी परचेज किया था, मतलब अलोंग विद दिस कोर्स मैंने पार्ट 3 का भी पार्ट 1 का परचेज किया था जब पार्ट 1 में कर रहा था. तो डू आई नीड अगेन टू परचेज द ग्लैम पार्ट 3 or
No.
will this,
if you already have the access, use it. That's not like Gleam is also good.
I don't have.
But if you don't have, don't worry, don't purchase anything, just rely on our notes. I'll send you the summary book. Actually, our summary book is more than enough. Actually, summary is not like summary, it's a huge all the topics are included in detail in that book. That's why, so rely on the summary book, rely on the all the class notes, write down the examples which I am speaking in the class. Okay, because after completion of the class you'll not remember those examples. Plus MCQs, we are going to upload a lot of MCQs, almost 100 MCQs each week we are going to upload. So focus on that. And in part 3, as much as MCQ you will be solving now, you will feel confident enough to certain exams. Okay.
And ma'am,
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am,
Yes,
shall I
yes.
call you on at 1:15 or 7:30?
Yes, you can call me if in case my client call is not there. I will pick up the call. I have to start that work also. But no worries. Just drop me a message first. Okay, on this WhatsApp. Yeah.
Madam,
ma'am,
Yes.
I have a doubt, madam, about part 1. Can I ask?
Part 1 doubt. Can you text me on WhatsApp quickly? I have
Okay,
to log
sure,
in
sure.
to the
Sure,
client.
madam, sure.
मैम एक प्रॉब्लम ये है कि थर्ड पार्ट के लिए ना सीट नहीं मिल रही है, तो इज देयर एनीथिंग, मतलब कोई ऐसा ट्रिक है क्या जिससे मिल सकता है? समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
एक ट्रिक है, रुको एक सेकंड.